Your resume, your LinkedIn profile, and applying online is not your brand. In my last TikTok, I showed you how the best job seekers are brands, and you asked for part two, so here it is. Now we're gonna talk about once you take the Career Decoder quiz, which if you haven't already, please do, totally free to take, Google search it or check the link in my bio, and you figure out the top 3 ways you like to create value, we can start to hone in on what's called your brand messaging. And this is where we're going to take your UVA, your unique value add, and really put it in a what we call language market fit. You're going to talk about yourself in a way that evokes emotion and connection. If you go research, you'll find that 95% of buying decisions are made from an emotional standpoint. Once you know you've done your research and everything is sort of equal and you've got apples to apples, it's the emotional connection, the one that makes you feel the best, that you tend to invest in. And that is no different for hiring managers. They're looking for you to alleviate their pain and solve their problems. So when they've got 5 candidates in front of them that all essentially have the same skills, right? They need you to bring that UVA and really sell it so that they feel a connection to you and they choose you. Are we there? Okay. So how do you create a really strong UVA? Well, I always teach my members to answer 3 questions. The first question is, what problem do you love to solve and what pain do you love to alleviate for an employer, for that hiring manager, right? So think about that. The second thing is, how do you do that? What's your methodology or your process? What's your system so that you can prove you really know what you're talking about? And number 3, what do you want to do with that next? What are you hoping to achieve in your next job so that you can create even more value using this UVA, this unique value add? When you can answer those 3 questions and really fine tune how you say that, you're going to have what's called a personal branding statement. And that statement is something that you can use when you're networking, when you're introducing yourself on LinkedIn or at events, when you're answering the question, tell me about yourself in a job interview. This personal branding statement becomes very, very important because it's something you're going to use on a regular basis to bring all of your skills and abilities together and market it in a way that evokes connection. Yes? So once you've worked on that, you've got your UVA turned into a personal branding statement, now you have to take your storytelling up a notch. Now, why do we take storytelling up a notch? Well, because stories are memorable. Think about what we're on right now. We're on an app where people constantly tell us stories as a way to connect with us, to evoke emotion out of us. So storytelling is what we are used to. It also helps with not just emotion, but retention and memory, right? We can retell stories because they're memorable. So you need stories about yourself. And this is where that Career Decoder quiz and your top 3 results come in handy. I have my clients make a little table. And in the first column of the table, they put their 3 personas from the Career Decoder. If you took the Career Decoder quiz, you know what I'm talking about. So let's just say you were visionary, builder, super connector, all right? What you now do is go back in your professional past, so you might want to dust off your resume or LinkedIn profile, and say, let me think about a time where I was a visionary. What was the situation at work where I was a visionary and that created a lot of value? And you write that story up, okay? Same thing for builder. Okay, when did I build something? When did I take a blueprint or a game plan and really run with it? What were the details and what was the outcome? How was I successful? And then the third one we mentioned was super connector. How was I a super connector? What did I do there? When you start to train yourself to pull out the stories from your professional past that support your workplace personas, how you like to create value, now you're going to sound a lot more authentic, and the stories help them know and trust you that you are who you say you are, okay? Especially when you can weave into it the facts or the results that you got, because now you're really proving out your value. And this storytelling technique is something that I teach all my members inside of Work It Daily in the form of interview prep. So we have a very comprehensive interview prep course where we teach you something called the Experience plus Learn equals Grow model. And when you can tell stories in that format, what did I experience? How did I learn from that experience? And then how did I grow from that experience, right? You start to train yourself to tell concise stories about your professional skills and abilities. And this is where we see the biggest game-changing moment for job seekers. Because when you can develop this, it's not hard. If you have the framework and you can follow along, you can build these stories out as they tie to your workplace personas. And this really knocks it home for people listening to you. The stories are memorable, they're factual, they support who you are as a professional. This is branding at its very best. So that's why you need to do these things. You need to come up with your personal branding statement. And then you also need to map your value, your top 3 workplace personas from the Career Decoder to your stories. And then you use the Experience Plus Learn Equals Grow model to tell those stories in a consistent manner within a beginning, a middle, and end in a logical format with the information they need. Now, once you've done this, once you've got this, you are ready for the final piece. And if you have made it this far and this makes sense to you, then I want you to think about this concept. Companies do what to get your attention with their brand? They create commercials, right? Think about a commercial right now that's your favorite commercial. Put it in the comments below. What commercial are you absolutely loving right now? And why do you think the company did an awesome job? Right? Think about it. Most commercials are going to do one of 2 things. They're either going to hit you with humor or heart. They're either going to be funny or heartfelt, okay? But what do? They evoke emotion. Nobody's going to pick a commercial that didn't evoke emotion. If you really like it, it connected with you in some way. So you are going to need to do a commercial for yourself. And you're like, oh, wait, JT, no, I'm not. Think about it. Hear me out. A lot of you are going to sleep on this. And guess what? Those of you that don't are going to really stand out, okay? Because your resume is not a commercial. Your LinkedIn profile isn't a commercial. So when I talk about a commercial, just think of why commercials do so well. Have you ever heard the phrase, a picture is worth 1,000 words? Okay, well, if a picture is worth 1,000 words, a video is worth 1,000,000. Because in 60 seconds, you can convey everything they need to know about you by sharing what? That personal branding statement and a story that tells them about you. This is where the brand comes to life. This is where your unique value add, your UVA, can come across in a way that your resume, your LinkedIn profile, your online application just cannot. And this is the future. By doing this, you're taking your brand next level and you're giving yourself a way to proactively reach out to these hiring managers and say, hey, here's my brand story, right? Hey, here's why I really connect with your company. Hey, here's why I really love this type of work. This is the kind of thing that comes across, and the smart job seekers are doing it. And it's not hard because you can use tools like the McCoy app, which I've mentioned to you several times now, that was built for this. McCoy understands that you are a brand and that you want to bring your whole self to that hiring manager as a way to differentiate, to stand out, to create connection. And the entire app, you download this iPhone app, walks you through it. Literally, AI prompts you through it. There's a teleprompter. It helps you set yourself up. Like, it's a way for you to create that commercial and be able to share your story in a way that, again, that resume is never going to do, or that LinkedIn profile or that online application. They're never going to be your brand. So I hope that this second lesson helps you understand the journey of pulling out your brand, tightening it up, but it inspires you to go one step further and make the commercial. Because again, if you use apps like McCoy, it's easy to do and it gives you a competitive edge. And folks, when things aren't working for you anymore, I'm going to keep telling you this, when things aren't working for you anymore, when your approach doesn't work, you need a better approach. You need to level up. This is leveling up. Branding and creating the commercial, that's leveling up. And again, I said this at the very beginning, 1 out of 10 people will actually take me up on this. 1 out of 10. The rest are going to go, no, I'll just stick with what I'm doing and struggle. But those people that get it and they're already starting to get it, they're branding and creating commercials and sharing them with hiring managers, they're getting job interviews. They're getting job offers. So there it is, folks. The reality, your business of one needs a brand, and that brand needs a commercial, and that will make the difference for you in your job search. Please keep the questions coming. If you found this helpful, will you help me back? Follow me here. I'm trying to help 10 million people on this app get new, better paying jobs. And of course, I have so many free resources linked in the bio, like that Career Decoder quiz. I hope you go check it out, okay? You got this. Go get them.